Okay, so picture this. 70,000 people. One stadium. 7 of the biggest performers on the planet under the lights. And somewhere in that crowd, while everyone's eyes were locked on the stage, 2 people were having their own moment completely off to the side. No spotlight. No mic. Just each other. And somebody caught it on camera. Stick around, because by the end of this video you're going to understand exactly why this clip is spreading everywhere right now, what BTS and Jimin were actually doing on that stage while it happened, and why this whole story says something bigger about what these concerts have become. And no, I'm not talking about the members themselves getting up to something backstage. I'm talking about 2 total strangers to the group, sitting right there in the stands, in the middle of one of the biggest nights of their lives, while BTS was doing what BTS does best just a few hundred feet away. It's the kind of split-screen moment that only really happens at a show this size, this loud, and this emotionally charged. Let's get into it. If you're new here, welcome. This channel is where we break down everything happening with BTS and Jimin in real time. No fluff, just what's actually going on and why it matters. If that sounds like your thing, now's a good time to hit subscribe, because we are deep in one of the busiest stretches of BTS's entire career right now, and you do not want to miss what's coming next. Okay, let's talk about Baltimore. For most of the year, BTS has been tearing across the world on the ARIRANG World Tour, and if you've been following along, you already know this isn't just a comeback tour. This is the first time the full 7-member lineup has been back on a world stage together since they all wrapped their military service, and every single stop has felt like a celebration of that. We watched them open in Goyang. We watched them tear through Tokyo Dome. We saw the chaos in Brussels, the record-breaking nights in London, the first ever shows in Munich, an unforgettable night in Paris with Emmanuel Macron in the crowd. And then, in the middle of all of that, they somehow found time to headline the halftime show at the World Cup final. Like, think about that for a second. In the same year they're running a full stadium tour, they also played the biggest halftime stage on the planet. This group does not slow down. And let's not forget where this whole era actually started, because it makes everything happening right now hit even harder. The ARIRANG album dropped back in March, and almost immediately the lead single Swim shot straight to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Not top 5, not top 10, #1. For a group that had just come back together as a full unit after years apart doing individual service, that's not a comeback, that's a statement. Then you had the music video for 2.0 dropping with that old boy-inspired concept, the comeback concert in Gwanghwamun Square that basically shut down the middle of Seoul, and then the tour kicking off in Goyang before heading to Tokyo Dome. Every single piece of this era has been building toward exactly what we're watching happen right now across North America. And somewhere in the middle of all that, Jimin specifically kept getting singled out, whether it was Rolling Stone calling him out as the group's best dancer, or producers like Ryan Tedder publicly praising the album, or just city after city of fans losing their minds the second his solo moments hit. This isn't a guy coasting on old material. This is a guy who's arguably having one of the most talked about stretches of his entire career in real time, while the whole world is watching. And what makes it land even harder is how honest he's been through it. After the very first show of this tour, back when there were technical issues on opening night, Jimin went live on Weverse afterward and just talked to fans directly about it. No filter, no polished PR statement, just genuine honesty about how the night felt from his side. That kind of transparency is part of why fans have stayed so locked in through this entire era, on top of the custom JiminCute leather looks he's been wearing on stage, and the non-stop praise from people in the industry watching this comeback unfold. So when the tour rolled into the United States, and specifically when it landed in Baltimore for the very first time in the group's history, that stop already had weight to it before a single note was played. This was BTS's first ever performance in Baltimore. Not their 10th, not their 5th, their first. 2 nights, back-to-back, August 10th and August 11th, both at M&T Bank Stadium, both scheduled for 8 p.m., both selling out to a sea of purple light sticks. And the first night alone gave us a story before the concert even started. There was a tornado warning. An actual tornado warning, with heavy rain and thunderstorms rolling through right as fans were trying to get into the venue. Gates got delayed. People were huddled up, trying to stay dry, probably wondering if the whole night was going to get pushed. And then the storm passed, the gates opened, and the second BTS hit the stage. None of that mattered anymore. They opened with Hooligan, then ripped straight into idol and fake love. And just like that, the tornado was old news. 70,000 fans, almost every single one of them holding a light stick, turned that stadium into this glowing purple ocean. If you've never seen concert footage of an army bomb ocean in person, genuinely go look it up after this video. It is one of the most insane visuals in live music right now. And Jimin. Okay, we have to talk about Jimin, because by all accounts, he was getting some of the loudest reactions of the entire night. During the performance of 2.0, the crowd noise for him specifically was described as the loudest response of the show. 7 members up there, all incredible, and Jimin's moments were the ones making the stadium erupt just a little bit louder. That's not new information if you've been watching this tour, but it's worth saying every time, because it's remarkable how consistent that is. City after city, stadium after stadium. And it's not just the big dance numbers either. If you've been tracking this tour closely, you know BTS has been sprinkling in these loose, unscripted freestyle moments during songs like Dynamite, where the members just break off and do their own thing for a few seconds before snapping back into formation. Fans have been clipping those freestyle breaks from basically every city on this leg, and Baltimore was no different. There's footage floating around tagged to the Baltimore stop showing exactly that kind of loose, personality-driven dancing. It's a small thing, but it's the kind of small thing that tells you these guys are actually having fun up there, not just running through choreography on autopilot after this many years and this many shows. There's also this whole detail with the governor of Maryland that I think deserves a mention, because it's honestly kind of wild. Before the shows, the governor put out a video specifically welcoming BTS to Baltimore. And he didn't just say, "Welcome BTS." He actually named every single member individually, Jimin included, before capping it off with a "Welcome to Baltimore, y'all." A sitting governor on video going out of his way to name-check all 7 members of a K-pop group ahead of their concert. That is the kind of cultural moment that tells you exactly how far this group's reach has gone. This isn't just a fandom thing anymore. This is a city official level welcome. Okay, so that's the setup. That's the scale of what was happening in Baltimore across those 2 nights. Now let's get into the actual reason you clicked on this video. Because somewhere in that crowd, on night 2, a video started circulating online with a caption that stopped a lot of people mid-scroll. The caption basically says that someone got engaged during the 2nd night of BTS's Baltimore concert. And the clip shows exactly what you'd expect from a concert proposal. 2 people, off to the side near the barricades, away from the main crowd, having this intense, emotional moment while the stadium lights and the screams from thousands of fans are happening in the background. One person drops down, there's this rush of motion, an embrace, and it plays out like every proposal video you've ever seen, except this one is happening with a literal stadium concert as the backdrop. Now here's where I want to be straight up with you guys, because I think this is actually the most important part of the whole story. As of putting this video together, we were not able to independently confirm that this clip is actually from BTS's Baltimore show, or that it happened specifically on night 2 as the caption claims. There's no official concert footage that shows it. There's no news outlet that's picked this up and verified the details. It's a clip that's circulating with a caption, and that's genuinely all we have to go on right now. And look, that doesn't mean it's fake. Concert proposals happen constantly. They're honestly one of the most common things you'll find if you search BTS concert proposal, because BTS shows have become this recurring backdrop for people's biggest life moments. It's just that with this specific clip, we can't hand you a confirmed timestamp, a confirmed location, or a confirmed source right now. So take it for what it is, a video that's out there making people emotional with a claim attached to it that hasn't been locked down yet. And honestly, I think that uncertainty is part of why this is worth talking about, because it says something about how these viral moments spread now. A clip drops, a caption gets attached, and within hours it's framed as fact everywhere it's shared, even before anyone's actually confirmed the who, what, or where. So if you do see this going around, and you probably will if you haven't already, just keep that context in mind. Enjoy it for what it looks like, a sweet moment between 2 people, but hold off on treating every detail in that caption as gospel until something more solid backs it up. And here's the thing about this fandom specifically, ARMY has a reputation for being one of the best in the world at tracking this stuff down. Seriously, think about how many times a random clip surfaces online, and within a few hours, someone's already found the original poster, cross-referenced the seat section, Match the outfit someone's wearing to merch sold at that specific tour stop, or pulled up a live stream timestamp that lines up perfectly. That's not an exaggeration, that's just how this community operates. So if this clip really did happen at M&T Bank Stadium on night 2, there's a very good chance the internet sorts it out within days, maybe even hours of this video going up. And if it turns out it's actually from a completely different show, or a different artist's concert entirely, that'll probably get sorted out just as fast. Either way, we'll be keeping an eye on it, and if solid confirmation comes through one way or the other, that's absolutely getting its own follow-up video on this channel. What we can say with total confidence is this. If this did happen during one of those Baltimore shows, the timing is honestly kind of perfect, because that's exactly the kind of atmosphere BTS concerts have built a reputation for creating. Go back and look at the pattern across this entire tour. We've seen fans getting proposed to at BTS-adjacent events before. We've seen members react to engagement moments happening in their own crowds at solo shows. There's this running theme in the fandom where BTS concerts, and BTS-related concerts in general, have become one of these spaces where people feel safe enough, emotional enough, and surrounded by enough joy that they choose that exact moment to make one of the biggest decisions of their lives. Whether or not the specific clip traces back to Baltimore, that broader pattern is very real, and it's part of what makes these tour stops so much bigger than just a set list and a stage design. Think about everything this tour has already survived and delivered before it even touched down in the US. In Brussels, there was an actual safety scare in the crowd, and Jimin was the one who stopped the show mid-performance to make sure everyone was okay before continuing. That's not a small thing. That's a member noticing something wrong in a stadium full of tens of thousands of people and prioritizing a fan's safety over the show itself. Then in London, at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, they pulled off 2 nights that reportedly drew somewhere around 130,000 people combined, with reviewers handing out 5-star write-ups and fans replaying Jimin's pre-show prediction that came true almost word for word. Munich gave them their first ever performances in Germany, complete with a crossover moment involving FC Bayern Munich. And then Paris happened, with Emmanuel Macron actually sitting in the audience. Jimin running through the crowd, and this moment fans have been calling his Bain de Foule, and a custom Dior look designed specifically for him by Jonathan Anderson. So by the time they landed in the United States, this wasn't a group easing into a tour. This was a group already several countries deep into one of the most talked about runs of their career, still finding new peaks night after night. And that's kind of the whole point of what BTS has built with this tour. It's not just about the music, even though the music is obviously incredible. It's about what happens in the crowd. It's about 70,000 strangers turning into one unified wave of light and sound for 3 hours. It's about a governor stopping to personally welcome 7 guys to a city. It's about a couple choosing that exact stadium on that exact night, surrounded by that exact energy, to change the entire direction of their lives. You don't get that kind of emotional gravity by accident. That's the byproduct of a group that has spent over a decade building genuine connection with people, not just fans in the traditional sense, but people who have shaped entire chapters of their lives around this group's music and message. And honestly, none of this should be surprising if you've been paying attention to the year BTS has had overall. This is the same group that headlined the halftime show at the World Cup final back in July, in front of one of the largest global audiences any performance has ever had, at the same MetLife Stadium that later hosted their tour stop. During that whole World Cup week, Jimin's charity jersey ended up outperforming items donated by names like Messi and Madonna at a Christie's charity auction, which, if you think about it, is such a strange and amazing sentence to even say out loud. A K-pop idol staged jersey outbidding pieces connected to some of the biggest names in football and music for charity. That's the kind of year this has been. Add on top of that the controversy around BTS getting snubbed at the Grammys despite ARIRANG's success, which fans are still not over, by the way, and you start to see the full picture. This group is simultaneously topping charts, breaking attendance records, generating headline-worthy crossover moments with global sports culture, and still somehow finding time to run a full stadium world tour without missing a beat. So when something like this proposal clip surfaces out of a random Tuesday night in Baltimore, it almost fits right into the pattern, because at this point, wherever BTS goes, big moments just seem to follow them, confirmed or not. Let's talk about where this tour goes from here, because it is not stopping anytime soon. After wrapping up Baltimore, BTS heads to Arlington, Texas, for 2 nights at AT&T Stadium on August 15th and 16th. And if you thought the reception in Baltimore was big, wait until you see what Texas does for them. Then it's on to Toronto for August 22nd and 23rd, and this one actually has its own wild detail attached to it. The city of Toronto has approved temporarily renaming a stretch of Yonge Street to BTS Boulevard leading up to those shows. An actual city council vote to rename a street for a concert. That's the level this tour is operating on right now. So if you're an ARMY in North America and you haven't locked in tickets yet, the window is closing fast, and honestly, based on what we're seeing city after city, these are shows you do not want to experience secondhand through clips online. Whatever venue is closest to you on this remaining leg, that's your shot, because there's no guarantee when a full 7-member world tour like this happens again. Now here's what I want from you guys watching this. Drop a comment, and tell me what you think about that proposal clip. Do you think it's real? Do you think it actually happened at Baltimore? Or do you think it's an old clip getting recycled with a new caption? I genuinely want to know what you all think, because the comment section on these videos ends up being one of the best places for this stuff to actually get investigated properly, sometimes better than any of us digging through the internet on our own. If you were at either of those Baltimore shows, night 1 or night 2, drop what you saw down below too, because if there's more footage or more context out there, this community is usually the fastest place to surface it. And if you're the type of person who wants to stay ahead of every single BTS and Jimin update as this tour keeps rolling through the US and Canada, subscribing is genuinely the best way to do that. We're covering every stop, every viral moment, every crowd reaction, and every piece of news the second it happens. And there is a lot more coming before this leg of the tour wraps up. Hit that subscribe button, tap the bell so you don't miss the next upload, and if this video kept you entertained for even a minute, smash that like button. It genuinely helps this channel keep growing and keep bringing you this coverage. And real quick, if you're new to this channel and you're just now getting into everything happening with BTS and Jimin in real time, go check the videos we've done on the rest of this tour. Brussels, London, Munich, Paris, the World Cup halftime show, all of it. Watching this era unfold city by city genuinely hits different when you've seen the full build-up, and it'll give you way more context for why moments like the one in Baltimore end up landing the way they do. This channel exists to keep you caught up on literally everything, so you're never scrambling to figure out what happened while everyone else already knows. Before you go, let me ask you this. With everything BTS has built on this tour, from record-breaking crowds to governors, giving personal welcomes to strangers, choosing these nights to propose, what do you think it is about this group specifically that creates that kind of emotional pull? Is it the music? Is it the years of history fans have with these 7 guys? Is it something about Jimin and the rest of the members individually that just hits different live versus anything you get from a screen? Let me know in the comments, because I read every single one, and some of the best conversations on this channel start right there. And don't just drop one word, actually tell me the story behind your answer, because the comment sections on these videos have turned into some of the most genuinely interesting threads on this whole platform. Fans swapping their own concert stories, their own theories, their own memories from shows they've been to. That's the kind of community this channel is trying to build, one where the conversation is just as good as the video itself. That's going to do it for this one. We'll be back with more coverage as this tour keeps moving, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.